Inventory is finally hitting the market in the masses. We have so many homes on the market here in the Sacramento region. Today, we're going to give you a Sacramento real estate market update and show you what's going on here in Sacramento. Hey everybody, welcome to Sacramento's Real Estate Channel, where we talk everything there is to know about the brand new builds and of course, what there is to do here in Sacramento. If you've been thinking about making a move to the area, subscribe to the channel. And just so you know, we go live every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. We'll see you there. Well, there you have it, guys. Welcome to the channel. Happy to see you here. It is another lovely Tuesday evening. There's been a lot of changes in the Sacramento real estate market. In fact, it's been phenomenally different than what it was even 6-8 months ago here in Sacramento. Things are changing like crazy. So today I wanted to really dive in. I know there's a lot of news and articles and things like that saying that the market's going down or crashing. It's not that, but there are some major changes going on. And I also am going to address how it is to be in the market right now as a seller, how it is to be in the market right now as a buyer, and what to expect kind of in those situations. So just think about that. If this is your guys' first time on the channel or seeing one of our videos, my name is Sam Golovey. This is our Sacramento real estate channel. We own a local brokerage here in the Sacramento region, helping people buy and sell homes all over the area. So welcome on in. And I'm going to bring up some serious stats today. I think it's going to be pretty exciting. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how crazy things have changed. So stay tuned. I'm going to bring up a lot of different graphs, and I'm also going to show you kind of my thoughts and opinions throughout that process, and kind of also tell you about what's going on with our personal clients, how they're handling in a changing market like this. Okay, so I see Wave jumping on here, giving me some fire emojis. If you guys have any questions or comments as I'm going along in the video, feel free to drop it in the chat down below, and I'll try to address those before we finish up the stream. Also, if for some reason you see this post-production, you could drop it in the comments down below. I see all the comments. So if you request for a certain question to be answered or something about a certain area, feel free to drop it down below. We'd love to hear from you and address that. Okay. So some crazy inventory hitting the market right now. Actually, things are changing at a rapid pace, faster than I expected, faster than a lot of people were expecting in the market. So inventory is finally hitting the market. In fact, even right now, there's a crazy stat out. There's 78.4% more homes on the market compared to exactly 1 year ago. And so huge change in pace, huge change in inventory. And I wanted to show you guys this graph because this is really going to show you the reality of how many homes we actually have on the market. So this is just a quick homes for sale, homes that have sold, homes that went pending in the Sacramento region. When I'm talking about the Sacramento region, I'm talking about Sacramento County, I'm talking about Placer County, I'm talking about El Dorado County, and I'm talking about Yolo County combined. Okay, so as of last month, we had about 4,024 homes on the market. Okay, so a little over 4,000 homes on the market or homes for sale. That's a stellar increase of 78.4%. If you pay attention to this graph, that light green bar all the way to the right, as you can see, it just exponentially grows since the beginning of this year, right? That's talking about inventory or the amount of homes on the market, the number of homes actively on the market, okay? So that's just a visual presentation. So we had 4,000 homes on the market as of last month, a 78% increase from exactly a year ago. We're pushing nearly double the amount of homes on the market compared to exactly 1 year ago. Okay, so let's just put that into perspective because as we all know, we've talked about it on the show before, it's been a hyper sellers market for the last 2 years. Ever since COVID, hyper sellers market. It's been a sellers market, but then last 2 years was just absolutely just bonkers. And so the fact that we have this huge change like this, so many homes finally coming to the market, we're kind of getting out of that COVID season, if you will. Things have definitely cooled off around here and in other parts of California, right? Take that with however you will, but it has cooled off as far as those things. And I think people are finally kind of deciding, okay, I'm moving, I'm getting a bigger house, I'm moving on. Or some people, honestly, some sellers right now are just like, I want to cash out. I feel like we're on the upper end of the market. I want to cash out, right? There's some of that as well. Now, do I think that the market's necessarily going down because of this? No. But we will discuss some of the kind of differences and some of the variables in the market now that we're going into more normalized market conditions. Okay. So we are in a new market. We're going towards more normalized market conditions. Okay. I do have a comment here. I want to address it really quick. Priscilla, good to see you on the channel. Do you think house prices will drop more later this year? Okay, so I'm actually going to address this as we kind of continue along, but short answer, I don't think prices overall are going to drop down, but I will show you some price adjustments already. We've talked about it before. I've showed you guys how many price reductions we've had in the market, ton of people doing price reductions right now. But a lot of that is because sellers had the anticipation and they're looking at comparables. They're looking at homes that sold in their neighborhood 6, 8 months or more ago. That was a night and day different market, right? You could put anything on the market back then. Didn't really need to do repairs. Honestly, the ugliest homes sold in days. And that's just how it was. Everything was selling because there was no inventory. Now we have a lot more inventory coming to the market. It's becoming more normalized, more of a normal market, right? I would say that for a normal market, we should have 3 to 6 months of inventory, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we're finally getting there. We're finally getting to those numbers. But do I think house prices overall will be dropping down this year? I think there's going to be adjustments, but I don't think it's going to be necessarily like the wave or the crash that people are expecting, or even a correction, right? I've talked about it before that a correction by definition is actually a 10% or more change. That would be a correction. So I don't think we're going to see house prices change by 10% or more. Personally, that's just my opinion. I get everyone's subject to their own opinion, do your own research. But personally, I don't see that just yet, but I have seen correction as far as little changes in the market. And I'm going to show you guys that. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, I do want to continue on this inventory and show you guys by graphs visually what this actually looks like. So check this out. This is basically showing months of inventory. If you pay attention here, you can see that graph basically go parabolic, right? It just increases like crazy. It looks like you're on a ski lift right there. So you can see that's the amount of homes coming to the market. So that's 2.3 months as of July. We're using July numbers on all these graphs because August just doesn't have the data yet, right? We'll close at the end of August and they'll be available September. So we're using July for now. But as you can see, ever since March, essentially March, April, when interest rates started increasing, when we typically go into that spring selling season, more inventory does come to the market, but it's continued to come to the market. And now we're at 2.3 months of inventory. Now, what does 2.3 months of inventory mean? That essentially means that if no new homes come on the market, we have enough inventory to supply about 2.3 months of demand based on how quickly homes are selling, how quickly things are turning over, right? So if no new homes come on the market in the next month, and we're using just all the homes we have on the market and things keep kind of going at the pace they're going at, it'll take about 2.3 months to sell everything out. So as you can see here on the graph, it was much faster and much tighter, especially for the last year or so. Everything was under a month. If you just look at that, that was just that crazy fast pace, no inventory season, for a while that we had. And so now we're finally getting out of that. And it's crazy because it's not just trickling up, it's coming in the masses. So now we're seeing a lot more homes come on the market. Whereas you used to see maybe one home in a neighborhood, right? If you're a home buyer shopping 6, 8 months, maybe a year ago, you would see in the neighborhood that you wanted, in the area that you wanted, maybe one home for sale or two. Now we're seeing 3 to 5 homes for sale, if not more, for the same neighborhood. What does this mean to buyers and what does this mean to sellers? Well, to sellers, first of all, it means you need to be a lot more approachable on your property. And what do I mean by that? I mean that price, condition, marketing of the home all matter. All those 3 points are required to sell a home. Okay, so it's no longer just putting a home on the market and pushing for that top dollar. It really is going against the competition in your neighborhood now. So that's very important when you're pricing a home. Right now, I still do a lot of consultations. We do consultations weekly, actually. So what we do, we reach out to a lot of our past clients. We reach out to a lot of our current clients. We reach out to a lot of our investors. And basically, I offer them, hey, the market's been changing like crazy. Let me update you. So we do a quick 20, 30-minute consultation, whether it's via phone, Zoom, in person. I love in person. I'll show you everything that's going on in the market, show you what to expect in the next 6 to 12 months, where interest rates are going, where we're looking at with inventory. And we basically veer it down of what all this data means for you and how are homes actually selling in your market today. Not earlier last year, not what Zillow said your home could sell for, not what your neighbor sold his home for, but what can your home sell for today? So this is very important. It's a completely different change of pace. So we've been doing those consultations almost weekly. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm having these consultations all the time, talking to my past clients who know me, love me, trust me, but they're still trying to go for that absolute top dollar that they've seen because their neighbor down the street sold for some crazy dollar amount 6 months ago when interest rates were 3.5%. It's not the same market because market is all about affordability, right? So pricing definitely changes because of affordability. That home buyer that was looking to buy your home 6-8 months ago at a 3.5% interest rate, and now they're looking at a 5% interest rate, their monthly payment is a couple $100 more for the same home. So of course, they're going to be more picky. They're going to want certain repairs on the home. They want the condition of the home to be a certain standard. And of course, they're going to be paying attention to the price. Okay. So just keep an eye out for that. Sellers don't have the same leverage that they did. We're going out of that seller's crazy market, going to more normalized market conditions. As a buyer, what does this mean? Finally, some leverage. Okay. If you're a buyer, if you've been thinking about buying in the market, honestly, right now, I look at it as a opportunity because right now there's a lot of freeze in the market. A lot of people kind of panicking, maybe even getting a little bit worried. Honestly, people reading way too many headlines, not actually reading the article. This is what I've realized because people always send me, you'd be surprised, right? Because I'm the guy, I bring the news, I go live every week. So people always send me an article and all they did was focus on what the article headline was, just like our crazy YouTube thumbnails, right? They never get into the content. They never read what the actual stats show. And so with that, there's a lot of doom and gloom out there, but the reality is like, it's not crazy. Like we're just changing, people. So we're just pivoting. Okay. And so we're getting used to the new normal. But as a buyer, you have a lot more opportunity right now. If you take advantage of this before interest rates keep continuing to go up, right? We've told you that there's projections that rates will still continue to increase throughout the year. Especially now that we're in high inflationary periods, I think rates will continue to rise for a little while. But if you could still take advantage of a 5% or less interest rate in this market, and while there's still a little bit of shakiness and more inventory than there has been in literally years, I think this is a good time to take advantage because there's a lot of sellers I've noticed sitting on the market right now, twiddling their thumbs, especially the ones that have overpriced for a while. They've been on the market 3, 4, 5 weeks, maybe longer. They're like, oh, shoot, maybe I'm not going to get this price. And those ones, I think you can really negotiate on. Now, of course, the agent you're working with, whoever you're working with, make sure to run it past them. They are definitely going to get you more inside information when it comes to that. So just keep that in mind. But I think that this season right now, while there's a lot of maybe uncertainty in the marketplace, is actually a good time to take an opportunity, really. And it kind of reminds me of 2018. The market definitely slowed down when rates finally kind of got into the upper fours, hitting the 5% mark. The same Lou kind of happened. And it's funny because the people that were shopping in that market were getting homes under contract, under list price, getting crazy negotiations going, getting a lot of, credits, closing costs, things like that. And then literally we hop into 2019, things start taking off again, rates drop back down, market starts pushing again. So I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen, but I think that the people that are going to be in the market are definitely going to be winning later this year. So a lot of it's been, hey, I'm going to wait 3-6 months, or I want to see what the market looks like next year. I just don't want you to be looking at what the market looks like next year if rates go higher, because your affordability changes. Today I came out with a video basically stating that every percent increase in interest rate. So if we go from 5 to 6%, right? So your interest rate goes from 5 to 6%. Your purchase power, your pre-approval amount, what you are approved to buy on your loan, decreases by about 10%. So your purchase power on your overall home loan, what the home that you can buy, let's say you're buying 600,000, it drops by about 10% of what you can buy every time that interest rate goes up 1%. Okay. So that's just a generic rule of thumb, but just keep that in mind. So that's how affordability plays the game. And that's why the market has softened so fast, is because rates just jumped up dramatically this year. If they kind of cranked them a little bit at a time and kind of eased into it, I don't think we'd have the same issue that we're having now, but it's presenting opportunities. So if you're a buyer and you're in the marketplace, I would definitely say that now might be an opportunity for you. And if you're worried about the rate, there's a saying in real estate, you date the rate, but you marry the price. So as long as you're good with the price of the home and current monthly mortgage payment is affordable, you date the rate. 6 months, a year, if rates drop back down, I have heard from some mortgage professionals that they are expecting in the next 12, 18 months rates to drop back down. If that's the case, you refinance and you just won. So that's just something that I'm seeing right now. I am seeing a lot of inventory, which to me is opportunity, because when those sellers get frustrated, when they've been sitting on the market for long enough, they're going to want to negotiate. They're going to want to be open to give you some closing cost credit. And another thing you should keep in mind is that when they are negotiable like this, right now, buying down your rate is super popular. If we can get you some extra closing costs, let's say an extra 2, 3, 5 grand, take that and we'll talk to your lender about buying down your rate. So basically getting you a more premium interest rate. Okay. So that's possible. So keep that in mind. Also talk with your lender about that, what the cost looks like for that. It's very variable. That's why I don't want to give exact numbers right now, but keep that in mind. And if you do need a good lender, I could definitely refer you to a few great ones here locally in our area. Let's continue because I want to get through this. I have a lot of content to cover today. Want to talk about pricing because pricing has been a huge one. Everyone's thinking price is going down like crazy. Price is going down. Price is going down. I had someone reach out to me the other day, sends me a link. Hey, I want to write an offer on this house, $50,000 under the list price. I'm like, guys, this is not that market. This is not 2008, 2009 frenzy. It's not that market. Okay. So I want to bring up pricing. This is what I want to show you guys. This is showing the median and active or average pricing, I should say. So median price as of last month is $596,000. So that blue line right there, as of last month, is $596,000 for the Sacramento region. Now, one thing to keep into consideration here is that the peak of this year, peak median price of this year was $620,000. So we have $620,000 dropping down a little bit to $596K. Okay. We have seen pricing always adjust. It's not just been a complete vertical because the market, like I tell people, is a living organism. Month to month, it can change depending on which homes sold and which prices we're going for, right? So you got to take it with a grain of salt. But the crazy part is we had a peak of 620,000, dropped to 596. You might say, oh yeah, the market's dropping. But check this out. That's still $596,000. The median price is still 6.4% higher than it was exactly 1 year ago. So if we're comparing this July at 596,000 compared to exactly a year ago, we're still 6% higher than we were exactly 1 year ago. So if you bought a property, median price has still increased 6%. Okay. That's just, kind of giving you some info right there. So you might see a little bit of tapering, and I was expecting that, more homes on the market, higher interest rates. It's natural. It's going to happen. But as far as like this whole crash happening, we're not seeing that yet. And if we were, I'm live every week, I'd be telling you guys, stack your cash, get ready to go. So keep that in mind. Now, I want to talk about other pricing here. So if you pay attention to that red line, that's going to be the average sold price. Okay. So average sold price as of last month is $665K in the Sacramento region. It did drop off a little bit as well. You can see that red line kind of divot following the median prices, but it's still 5.4% higher than it was exactly a year ago. Okay. So we still have a 5.4% increase if we're comparing year over year. Okay. So that's very interesting. So you do have, in the last few months, you do have a little bit of a dip off, but it's still higher than it was exactly a year ago. Okay. So this is very important, guys. Okay. I have someone dropping a comment here before I go too far. I want to address this one. Connie, I love your content. Thank you so much, Connie. If you see a home that seems underpriced, is that just to start a bidding war? Well, it depends. How far underpriced is it? You will see right now a lot of homes, and this is honestly a marketing tactic, a sales tactic. I'm starting to see a lot of real estate agents start offering sellers, hey, let's put your house on the market. We'll do it auction style. I hate that with the passion. Now, I know some people really work it and do a good job at it, but I personally hate that with the passion because They put it on the market as a regular listing. Nothing in the description about it being an auction or a bidding style property. But let's say the home is worth, I don't know, 500,000. They'll price it at like 350. The most ridiculous thing, right? And they get all these eyes on it. And it's just a bunch of people asking their real estate agents or texting me like, hey, is this home really this price? This could work. And then you look into it and it's auction style property. Please submit your bid. Seller has the right to accept or refuse your offer. So even if you offer over what their initial bid is, the seller still has the right to cancel it and say, no, I'm not selling to you. And on top of that, sometimes they still ask the buyer to include another 3% of the purchase price. So basically an extra 3% of closing costs on top of what they're willing to offer. So the system is garbage, in my opinion. Now, don't get upset if you use that system, but I think it's ridiculous. So if you see a property like that, which has a huge price gap, most likely it's an auction style property. And of course, just because you put a bid in doesn't mean they have to sell it to you. The whole idea of that is they're trying to ramp up a price that's higher than what a normal fair market value would go for. Okay. Now, if the home is underpriced by, let's say, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, then yes, that could mean two things. Seller is super motivated, needs to get out ASAP. Second thing is it needs a lot of love. It might need some work. So they're just underpricing it to begin with and kind of create that interest. And the third is, yeah, they want to create a bidding war potentially, right? Most people aren't, I haven't seen too much of that lately. Usually everyone's going for a higher price, but yeah, once in a while, if it's a savvy seller or, agent, yeah, they would underprice it just a little bit to kind of create that interest in the property. Okay. So just keep that in mind. If there's a specific property you're looking at or want us to run some fair market value or like a comparable assessment of that neighborhood, feel free to shoot us a call or text with the address or the link, and we'd be happy to do that for you. Okay. I got Maxi Waxy on here. Great info. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Have another comment from Priscilla again. Will even more homes come onto the market for winter? Based on how things are going, and I showed you guys how inventory was flying up like crazy earlier, I think personally that more homes will come onto the market, especially during this fall winter season. I think sellers are going to finally realize, oh shoot, things have changed. Maybe I should sell. Like even a lot of my clients have had that they're kind of like been on the fence. They've been on the fence. Should I do it? Should or not? A lot of on the fence. I mean, I literally have like 2 or 3 signed contracts over here of people like, I want to sell, but I'm kind of waiting. Like I have contracts on my table right here. So it's kind of funny that there's so many people on the fence right now. And so I think we'll see in the next few months as people start realizing, okay, this is the new normal market that, okay, I got to sell. I just got to do it while I can, even though if it takes more time. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But I think that we will start to see a little bit more homes on the market going into the fall winter season. Hopefully, again, we still are technically in low inventory times, even though we have this huge boost. But when we're looking from a wide scale over the last 5, 10, 15 years, we're still pretty low inventory as a whole. Okay. For now. So not too much worry here. Okay. Let's continue with the pricing. Here we go. I showed you guys the median and active pricing. So pricing, even though it took some dips over the last few months, it's still 5-6% higher than it was exactly a year ago. Okay. So just keep that in mind. So overall pricing is still higher. Okay. So that's good. Now I want to jump into average days on the market. How quickly are things going? So this is average days on the market. Basically, how long does it take a home to sell on average? If you pay attention here, 21 days on average. So about 3 weeks to get a home sold is the average right now. What I'm telling sellers, like depending on price point and how they're willing to price, that's really important. Pricing is huge right now. I have a lot of people like want to put their properties up, not do much work because they're tired or whatever. That they don't want to put too much work or money into it. Those are the people that are going to be sitting on the market unless they price it attractively, right? Everyone is looking for a deal. If you price it attractively and it needs love, someone will scoop it up. But if you're pushing for an upper price and you're not willing to really do that stuff, I'm just going to tell you right now, you're going to be sitting on the market. So about 3 weeks on average to sell a home. I tell people right now, like just depending on the home, each one is so different. Every neighborhood is different. So when I'm having the initial consultation with you, you'll kind of get my personal opinion, but every neighborhood, every area, I take into consideration the desirability, how many active homes are on the market right now, what's the price point, right? Lower price points, way more buyers. Higher price points, less buyers, just naturally, right? And so all those things change. And based on that, that's how we'll price the home and stage the home and show the home, just based on the type of buyer we're looking for, the specific buyer for that type of property. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But I would say, 2-3 weeks before you get some real interest on a home. Now, the homes that are ready to go, priced right, condition is amazing, super desirable, I'm still seeing those homes sell in days. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If it's one of those things where it checks the boxes for you and your significant other, or if you're just buying a home by yourself or an investment property, if it checks the boxes, I'll say don't wait too long. Pull the trigger on it, move forward on it, make an offer, whatever that offer looks like. But I wouldn't be going low ball. I mean, if it checks the boxes, try to negotiate. But main thing is to get into contract, really, because you don't want to be the guy that undercuts the price. Seller gets annoyed of you, doesn't want to respond. Another buyer comes in, writes a decent offer. They get in contract. You're out of the game. Okay. So if the home fits the bill and you can see like, wow, this home's going to get a lot of desirable eyes, a lot of people interested in this one, those homes can still easily sell in the first few days. So just keep that in mind. I always shared this on the a few weeks ago. Right now is the market for opportunity as a home buyer. And even as a seller, I mean, we're still at historically high pricing. Just keep that in mind. Historically high pricing, even with the adjustments, you're still in a good position, even though it might take you a little bit longer to sell your home, or maybe you're not pushing the absolute highest price for the neighborhood. You're still getting really good money for your homes. Just keep that in mind. But what I'll tell to the buyers is be greedy. Get a deal, but don't be greedy. Right? My friend, we had this experience. He was trying to get a home, and he said to me, Sam, I was being too greedy when I had a good deal in front of me, and when I was being too greedy, I ended up losing the deal. And so that's really the thing right now is go for a good deal, but don't try to undercut. This is not the market where you're going to get a home 30, 40, $50,000 under the list price, unless for some reason it's crazy overpriced, or we're in the higher end market where those kind of price reductions do happen more often. But if you're shopping a home 500, 600, 700,000, I wouldn't really expect that in this market. And of course, each home is so different. So what I'm telling you guys is based on each home that you're interested in, you should approach it based on desirability level, affordability. Like, does it fit for you and your family? And do you see yourself living in that home 3, 5, 7 years or more? Okay, that's another just quick word to the wise. I always tell people this. What's your goal to live in the home? They might say 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I'm like, okay, add on another 3 years to that. Worst case scenario, you need to write it out for another 2, 3 years on top of what your goal was. Are you okay with this home? Is it going to fit your family? Is it going to fit your needs? Is it going to fit your requirements? Yes, no. Okay, well, if it's a yes, thumbs up. Let's go for it. If it's a no, maybe think twice about it if this is the home for you. So that's a lot of things I'm saying, that our personal goals, our personal expectations with a home can either turn much quicker or much later, when it comes to selling or moving on to the next home. So just keep that in mind. That's just something I'm always seeing with my personal clients. Some, 2, 3 years ago were telling me, hey, I'm going to live in this home 5, 7 years. I had some clients tell me they're going to die in that home. Imagine having that conversation. I was like, please sign the contract before that happens so I can get it sold. I'm just joking. But with that, people are saying they're going to live a lot longer in these homes. But you know what? In the last 2, 3 years, they had such dramatic equity gains. A lot of the people that I was helping buy 2, 3 years ago are up 100, 150, $200,000 in value on their home. And now they're like, shoot, I might as well just sell it sooner and get a better home that fits my needs more than this one did. So you might be selling a lot sooner. You might be selling a lot later. But I always tell people, plan for a longer projection when it comes to the sale of that home. So if you get kind of stuck in it, things maybe don't work out as they did, or your family life situation change, stuff happens, right? Doesn't matter. But just keep that in mind. That's just kind of my advice that I tell clients all the time, especially home buyers, first-time home buyers. That I think that's going to be huge for you guys. So just plan long-term, don't plan short-term, right? I wouldn't go into this market with huge speculation that you're going to be up another $100,000 next year. I would not have those speculations. I think overall pricing is going to generally kind of keep increasing. I mean, let's look at everything else in the market. Everything else is getting more expensive. Gas, my truck is insane to fill up right now. Food, going like crazy, also like way more than what I remember even getting groceries for a year ago. So everything is going up in price. Do you think that home prices will decrease? Right. And that's a question to you guys. I want to see, like, do you guys think home prices will decrease despite everything in this really high inflationary period going up? So I'd love to hear your comments from you guys. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. And I hope that this information has been beneficial to you guys. I hope that these stats, really kind of this reality on the data of what's going on in Sacramento, helps you guys on your decision to whether buying or selling a home here in Sacramento, or whether even investing in properties here throughout Sacramento. So again, just another feedback real quick to sellers. Right now, it's really time to be more realistic with the sale of your property. Realistic with your expectations. I wouldn't go for an absolute highest and best price. I literally even had someone approach me this last weekend. Hey, I had a sister whose house was on the market. The agent couldn't get it sold. We need this price because Zillow says it's this price, and they want to buy this specific home out of state. So they want to get this amount of money out of it. I'm like, look, that's great. But at the end of the day, the markets change, and you just want to get another agent in because you're dissatisfied with them telling you that they're not going to get you your price, or because you're going off of a Zillow estimate. Come on, guys, be a little bit more realistic. So if you need an agent that's going to price it correctly and just get it sold for you on the first try, hire the right person. And if you need help with that, I mean, reach out to me and my team down below. Our info is right there. You can give us a call or text anytime. Homes are taking weeks to sell, if not longer. So have that expectation too. Patience now in the market. Don't have that rush that in the first week things are just going to go hot and off. So, and don't get offended with lower priced offers, right? You'd be surprised how many buyers will come in and they might write you a really low offer at first, but in reality, they're willing to pay more for that property. So don't get offended about it. Just put it to the side, make them work for it. But you are going to have to be definitely more negotiable. If there's stuff wrong with the property, you might need to do some repairs, might give some closing costs, maybe even put a little carrot out there and say, hey, we'll throw a few grand to buy down your interest rate. In the reality of things, you're still making a lot more money. Hopefully a few grand here and there is not going to kill you. And right now it's about making deals stick and making it happen, rather than pinching pennies and going for absolute every dollar. Okay. So it's just a different market. So just keep that in mind. Now the buyers are definitely kind of getting more into favor. It's still a seller's market. I just want to be clear. It's still definitely a seller's market, but things are definitely changing into the buyer's favor, with sellers becoming more realistic, starting to see their homes sitting on the market for weeks. And if they're in a rush, or if they're in a pinch and they're already in contract on their next house, this is a good time to step in as a buyer and really negotiate that price. I mean, even the last few contracts that we got this last month or two, we've had homes literally get into contract a few grand, if not a few tens of thousands of dollars under the list price. Or even if it's at the list price, we're starting to negotiate a lot more during the inspection period, right? Because as we all know, every house has problems, whether big or small. Every home has problems. I don't care. Even the brand new homes, they will have problems that we find all the time. So just keep that in mind. If you're a first-time home buyer, it's not a time to freak out, but it is a time to negotiate. So that could work in your favor as well, especially since we can probably get those repairs done a lot cheaper. We can get you some quotes, get you some closing costs, help you out on the front end with your down payment, your closing costs, things like that. Make it a little bit easier to get into your home. And then, a lot of the items like repairs and stuff like that can be done after you move in or after you close. So a lot of the times we're just using it to get you a better deal. That's just how it is. Also, some advice to buyers: work with your lender on buying down your rate so you can get a better monthly mortgage payment. So essentially, if let's say you got a 5% interest rate, you can pay down some points, and basically it costs money. It costs money on the front end, but you can lock in a lower, more premium interest rate for yourself for the long term, right? Because no one really knows 100% what's exactly going to happen with rates. But if you can get it as low as possible today, because that's what's going to be long term is your loan, unless you refinance, get it as low as you can possible today. If you can afford it, especially to buy down those rates, it might work out better for you. And again, if you guys need some lenders in the area that do this stuff, I'm connected with some awesome ones in the area. So just let me know. So that way it can make your monthly payment a little bit more affordable, because really You date the rate, you marry the price. So get the rate as good as you can in the beginning. And if it drops down later down the road, refinance. Hopefully it'll work out for you. Okay. So just keep that in mind. I did want to finish off before I kind of let you guys go. I know we got some people in the chat. Before I finish it off, if you guys have any questions or comments, drop it in the chat right now before we finish it off. I want to address them any way that I can. So drop it down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. I did want to pull up something from SAC Appraisal Blog. Awesome appraiser here in the area. Puts out a lot of content about the market. And this was just an interesting stat that he put up on his blog just the other day. He wrote about 37% of homes last month in the Sacramento region sold above the original list price. So not everything is selling below like some are talking about. Remember, selling above or below the list price isn't just about the market. It's about how the property was priced. Okay, so I thought that was very interesting. While everyone's thinking prices are dropping, things are going down, this is a reality check on stats. About 30% of homes last month in the Sacramento region sold above the list price. Okay. So almost 40% of all the homes, almost 40 of them sold above the list price still. Okay. So that just also gives you guys a reality check. Like it's still a seller's market. Still 37% of homes are getting their price, if not above. Okay. So that's what I was saying earlier. If you're a buyer in the market and you see a home that you really like, and you're saying like, hey, wow, this home is solid. It fits all the boxes for me and my family or what I want this property to be. Great. Pull the trigger. Okay. Write an offer on that home. You don't want to miss out and you don't want to start coming in under the list price. Like if you see the desirability is there, if it's priced right, go for it. Come in strong. That's going to matter because, hey, if 2-3 offers still come in on that property and you decided to go under, you're going to be kicking yourself in the foot about that one. Okay. So hopefully this helps you guys out. I love having you guys on. I'm seeing more and more people join the live stream every week. So really thankful for you guys joining me every week live Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. We have some awesome content coming out this week as well. I'm going to turn out a new video about Sierra Oaks, one of these sweet neighborhoods, more established neighborhoods here in Sacramento. And make sure you see that coming out on Thursday. But for now, let us know your comments down below. If there's anything that we can answer for you guys or bring on to the following show, let me know. But for now, my name is Sam Golovey with Golovey Real Estate. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.